feel that having a childhood where I had boundaries and limitations, you call it sheltered, I call it disciplined. I feel like, yes, that actually allowed me to grow up and have morals and values and things that set me apart from other people who make content. There you go. Didn't I tell someone to eat my ass with a spoon? Indeed, I did, and they should have. Urban style individual.
What's up with y'all? Hopefully this video finds you in good spirits, and if not, well, at least you're not DSP. And in this video, we're going to examine how Phil reacts to being asked a direct question about his childhood and if he was sheltered. So let's see what he has to say.
Sounds like you had a sheltered childhood. Do you think that affected you as you got older and your view on the world? I would say I had a unique childhood because I was allowed to play with the local kids. I was allowed to go do things, extracurriculars. I was able to do stuff, but there were limits. It wasn't one of those just go do whatever you want. I did definitely had set concrete rules. My parents definitely protected me from certain things for sure. So it was kind of like a half and half.
Now, so far, even though he used the word unique, I haven't heard anything unique yet. He said his parents said he couldn't do certain things. I mean, many of our parents and many of you listening, if you are a parent, there's certain things that your kid just can't do, period. And there's nothing inherently wrong with giving your child restrictions, but I'm gonna let him continue.
Sometimes my friends would be doing stuff that I wasn't allowed to do. And that was just part of reality, you know. My parents had boundaries and rules about things, and, you know, it is what it is. So did it change me? Did it affect me? Maybe. I think, if anything, it gave me some discipline. Because I think there's a lot of people today, they can't handle.
Now, before he goes on his rant, because he can't ever just talk about the subject matter, you know, he always has to stand on someone else's shoulders in order to make a point. But before he goes there, he talks about it giving him discipline. I disagree, because they were ruling over you as your parents, giving you parameters. So you did what you were told. Discipline is referring to how you govern yourself. And we've seen how you govern yourself over the years. It's recorded, almost 2 decades worth. And nothing about what we've seen over the last 2 decades would have anything to do with the word discipline.
Being told no about anything, right? Like, no. How dare you say I can't do something, or that I don't have the freedom to just do whatever I want at all moments? Well, that's not reality. In reality, in life, there's rules for a reason. There's things that are in place. You need to have discipline. You need to have understanding that people are trying to look out for you and be, you know, yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that. I don't get it. I should just have the absolute freedom to do everything that I want at every waking moment, even if it means that it harms everyone around me and it's to the detriment of the public. No, I should just have freedom. That's
Phil believes that just because he doesn't do a rolling stop at the stop sign, that he's a good person and that he quote unquote has discipline. Discipline carries over to all aspects of your life. You cannot sit up here and give us a rant about discipline and controlling yourself when we know that the main reason why you have all these problems is because you have an inability to control yourself, whether that be financially or you lashing out at the trolls. Now, and that's part of the reason why we're here. That's a large reason why we're here, Phil. Your lack of discipline.
That's actually not how it works. The reason that you're allowed to have freedom is because you have freedom that actually respects others, and therefore everyone can thrive together, not just stomp on everyone around you, right? Oh, I have freedom to just walk through the street with 2 live chainsaws and I could just spin and chop people's limbs off. No, you can't.
Now, again, you see how he has to create an extreme example to make a point. So oftentimes when people have to create extremes to make a point, that means you don't really have a point. Who the hell is walking around with chainsaws trying to cut somebody's limbs off, dude? Phil, you play too many video games, bro. This is not Grand Theft Auto. This is not Saints Row, okay? I mean, why not try to find a more realistic example of what you're referring to? I mean, this dude had to go straight Hollywood with it, man. It just makes no sense.
You're not allowed to do that. Well, I don't get it. That's my freedom. Can I do that? No, stupid, you can't. That's the problem. There's too many stupid people.
Well, Phil, chopping people's limbs off is already against the law. So that's already being enforced, man. Like, what is he talking about, man? Can somebody help me?
Just let people have untethered freedoms, then they'd kill everyone because they're morons, right? So I learned that as a kid, that I can't just do whatever I want. that there are limits on the things that I'm allowed to do. And I kind of grew up with that mentality that it's for the common good, right? So maybe that made me feel very different from others. Like, for example,
Phil is the prime example of the preacher's daughter syndrome, where their parents are overbearing to the point where you create arrested development in their children. And the second they get out from underneath their parents, they want to experience everything all the time, all at the same time. And they end up spiraling because of it. And this is what we see with Phil. Now, I understand that he's trying to act as if his parents try to do right by him. And if we're being honest about it, they probably did try to do right by him. But I can tell that his mother coddled him way too much, because at a very early age, she can tell that her boy was special.
I legit have a conscience about things that I say and do on the internet now. And if I were to do a stream where I just rag on someone and I just, tear into someone, I would legit feel bad about it after the fact, because I'm of the opinion that I'm someone who has a public following. I'm well known on the internet. I should be.
But what are you well known for? You're well known for all the things you claim you don't do, Phil. You're definitely not known for being this moral compass or this pillar of what we should and should not do. Think something that, young children should look to and how to model themselves. That's not the case. Your infamy is in your lack of discipline. Your infamy is how you've stepped on others, your friends, and according to you, the Kino Casino, right? King Snake. So who is this rant for? Who exactly are you talking to, or who exactly are you trying to convince? Because you ain't convincing me.
Be conducting myself in a way that if I'm going to get over, I don't have to step on others and hurt them to do that. I feel like that's insanely irresponsible, destructive, toxic behavior, and I'm better than that, and I should be better than that. I should aspire to be better than that, so that others can also follow my example. Okay?
Okay. Now, if you are someone who's looking to darksydephil for inspiration on anything, get off the internet. Okay? Get off the internet. Okay? Because you're not going to learn anything noteworthy from this guy at all. Now, I will say this. There are tons of things that you can learn by way of proxy by what not to do, right? But in terms of redeemable qualities and characteristics that we should use, that we've seen Phil doing, that we should use ourselves as a way of modeling ourselves after him, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. What should I take? Your speech patterns, your mannerisms, how you interact with people, your problem solving, your coping skills? I'm still looking for something.
Some people who are content creators and popular say, I don't give a fuck about anyone. I'll hurt anyone I want. I'll slander anyone I want. I'll laugh at anyone I want. Who cares? As long as I made a buck today. That's awful. That's literally no respect for anyone around you. It means you had no discipline when you were growing up. You didn't understand about the greater good. You weren't taught any morals. You're just a scumbag. You're a piece of shit. And there's lots of people on the internet like that right now. And it's disgusting that they're allowed to thrive and do that. There should be limitations on the kind of content that can be put out. But right now, there really isn't any. So there you have it.
And who should determine those parameters? Should it be you? I mean, because you're presenting yourself as, the lighthouse, essentially, right? You're the pillar that everyone should look to for our moral fiber in terms of what to do. Now, you can't point to a single year in your entire existence where what you're saying is true. Where have we seen all this discipline, all these morals, all these things your parents taught you? Where? I haven't seen it in real time. All I've seen is an entitled, begging, over the top, spazzing man-child who has issues controlling his emotions. And this is the part that I really want to get to in terms of parenting. It's not a perfect science, and nobody's saying that it is. Okay? And it's not about how many resources you have that's going to determine if you're a good parent or not. It's about what you do with the resources that you have. Because you can be absent and not do enough and be a bad parent. But you can also be present and do too much and be a bad parent. And this is what we have here with Mr. Darksydephil. Because it wasn't that his mother and his father did not put him in a good home, in good schools, with resources. They did all those things. Their problem was the intangible things. His problem is because he never felt the repercussions of his decision making. That's his problem. It wasn't that he was poor or that his parents didn't love him or, his upbringing was hard. It was none of those things. In fact, it was too cushy. The climate control was just a little too nice. He never got a boo-boo. He never got a bump. And then when he finally did, they came through with the Band-Aids and the alcohol and administering first aid immediately on site. He never tasted his own blood. He never had to sweat for reasons that he did not want to. Okay? So don't ever think that when it comes to parenting, oh, I just need to have more resources. It helps. It helps. But at the core of being a parent, it's about you establishing left and right lateral limits and enforcing the things that you say. And yes, there's going to be times where it's going to be hard for you to discipline your child because it's going to make you feel uneasy. But understand you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for them. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Urban style content. I'm dead.